Let's get the show on the road.
Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday morning. We're joined right now by PWA legend, the man himself, Eddie Osborne. Eddie, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. How are you guys doing?
I'm all right. Eric, how are you feeling? You,
I'm good, man. I'm good.
we did this Sunday night, and you're pretty fried on edibles that night.
Yeah, I was. Well, I was watching the Super Bowl, and I had a little fun. A little alcohol, a little edible.
But you're fully recovered now.
I'm good to go, Rex.
I didn't know you liked the Devils game.
What, edibles or football?
Football.
Why is that the Devils game?
The water boy, man.
Oh, Waterboy reference. Okay.
That foosball, man. It's the Devils game.
Is that a Friends mug you have?
Yeah.
You're such a loser.
It was a gift, you dick.
You love Friends.
I do. It's such a good show. As is Seinfeld.
It felt forced.
Seinfeld's the worst?
No, you felt forced in that explanation. You're like,
no.
It's from Friends.
No, it wasn't forced. No.
So my
I guess so. Eddie, you did not watch the Super Bowl.
Rex is throwing up his hands. No, I didn't watch it at all.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything either.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Screw football.
Okay.
Why is it weird? I like hockey, man. I watch hockey.
That's true.
Wrestling.
You're a big hockey fan. Yeah. Okay. Rex just doesn't watch any sports.
No.
That's
I watch
fair.
like fighting.
Oh yeah,
That's
you're
fair.
a UFC guy.
UFC, boxing, whatever, any combat sports, but team sports, it's too much to follow. There's too many people to know. It's like watching wrestling nowadays. Like there's 300 wrestlers on TV. How do you remember them all?
You just follow the ones you like.
That's kind of hard to do in sports, I feel like.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how to.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going with this, but whatever.
What I was going to ask was what are your career plans now, Eric, that the pandemic happened and Eddie's pretty much stopped running in Ontario. Where's your career headed now?
Yeah, I don't do much anymore.
You're going to be wearing a dress for the rest of your life.
That's it. Yeah. I no plans. There's been no talk of bringing me back into 365. Whenever
It's been a year. It's been a year since I've run a show in Ontario.
Yeah, but you're on shows in BC.
Not currently though. We got shut down in November. And we were shut down before, so we were only like August to November, and then like that was a nice now we're fucked like everyone else.
Did they give you a time frame on that?
They just bumped it. They've been like doing it every month since November, like 30 days, like indefinitely. I'm like, oh, that's fair.
Are you looking at going back to Ontario eventually? Because it's been how many years? Like 15 years you guys have been running in Ontario, and all of a sudden now, obviously a lot of people aren't running, but you guys are one of the ones that haven't ran at all. Some people are still running like little things here and there when they're allowed to, but I know you guys have just taken it off completely.
It's hard because 365, I kill PWA. I'm like, 365, super excited. And then everything gets shut down. I'm like, damn, we were still kind of introducing the brand. So to go to like a studio show is kind of tough after all that time. Like I want to introduce it with a live crowd and people like this guy because I actually like this guy, the boo or cheer instead of just on the cameras there. But if we have to get to that model, we'll do it. But of course, I'll keep running Ontario. It's all I do, man. My life is wrestling.
Yeah, it's been weird without me getting shit-faced at a 365 show or like PWA. Normally, it's a once a month, at least for me, where I show up at the Alpine Club and just get wrecked and watch some wrestling.
The first 365 event at that new venue, the Registry Theater, you shared before the first match. I was like, damn. I'm like, that's a record.
Yeah, I had a Mickey of vodka in my boot.
Just bam. So
I remember coming out of the locker room and just being belligerent and like I went to like what's the guy's Brody King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, asking him who he was. I had no idea who he was. He's like this big deal. And they're like, yo, man, it's Brody. I was like, I'm not trying to suck his dick. I'm like, I don't know who he is.
Holy Christ.
He's a cool dude, man. He's a real cool dude.
He was very understanding with me being there, red-faced and drunk.
For
And
sure.
asking him questions like he was nobody.
Was that the same show that between work and traffic and coming to Kitchener that we were so late?
Yes.
Like I thought I was being pulled from the show for sure. But
We're
I was
arguing
so
in front of the
angry.
crowd. Oh my god.
I was so angry about everything.
7
Yeah.
o'clock, and we were still like 20 minutes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting hot. But it happened. I would just fucking phone me. But
He's got a
it's
point.
happened.
That's all right.
I
I
just-
wrestled Dukes that night. We killed it. We called the whole thing out there.
Yeah, it was a real good match.
How drunk I am, I don't even remember that match.
Dukes and me?
No, I think
Oh,
I
it
went
was-
through Pretty Ricky and Joey Allen, maybe. Was that a match?
No.
Nope, that wasn't a match.
Thanks for coming out though.
But
It was a good show.
I really liked it. I thought it was a good way to kick things off. And yeah, I had a great time. It was a lot different than some of the PWA shows to me, a lot of different faces. So hopefully, I had a lot of ties in PWA, and I feel like the last show, a lot of the guys kind of had their last match for me, just because they retired or whatnot, or maybe I'm moving in different directions. So it's kind of cool to see where I can go with this new product.
And the venue, to me, when I think I do remember, is that it reminded me a lot of the old days when you guys ran in Elements.
Man,
It was
I like
very,
that.
like cool vibe. It was kind of not like a nightclub, but it, you know, it was that theater, but it kind of had like a cool like punk rock feel to it. And the crowd was super hot. I remember that.
Yeah, they were into everything.
It was like the perfect setup for a wrestling show.
It's challenging because we can't get too many people around the ring because it is the theater seating. But it's better than the Alpine Club because we don't got a cord running across the middle of the ring or some boards on each side. So we like having a little bit more space in there.
Yeah, I'll be right back. You guys talk for my dog going ballistic right now.
Awesome.
Okay, that's amazing. All right. So hey, okay. I wanted you on here last week because I wanted to see what your opinion of the Rumble was, which I imagine you watched.
I did indeed.
So let Edge winning. What do you think about Edge winning the Rumble this far into his career, back into his career?
Who else were you going to give it to?
Ah, see, you're gonna play this game. But Edge doesn't need it. Edge didn't need that win.
Does anybody need a win? I don't know. I think you could have went with the Bryan Danielson would have been cool because he seems like he's real hot, or like a Cesaro. That'd been cool. But I don't pay enough attention to WWE. I watch the pay-per-views. So I'm like, I feel like I can have an opinion.
That's my problem too. I just feel like, I mean, there's so many younger guys that they could have given it to.
Yeah, I think they need to build all those guys more and give them those wins now and then. But they got to actually take them seriously and really do it. Same thing. Like I'm not comparing my thing to their thing, but I used to like pushing the older guys too. Even later, sometimes maybe I should have, and sometimes it was a problem because those guys all leave, and then my young guys went, "Oh shit!" So they're gonna have to do something. But right now they got billions and billions of dollars, and they can do whatever they want, and people are gonna watch it or not watch it, and that's kind of life.
That's true.
Yeah,
it scares me that they're pushing the older talent because it makes me feel like they're not doing well without them. Like they're needing, they feel like they need to bring them back in order to like get people watching, which makes me nervous because if they're hurting, that means everyone's going to be hurting.
They're hurting in that sense, but they're making billions and billions and billions of dollars. Like they're doing amazing that way, right? So like there's still a business for pro wrestling. However, it's working. I'm not sure like what the way it's going to go, but wrestling's amazing because if you don't like WWE, you got like Japan or you got Mexico or you got like so many other different avenues. You got indie wrestling. So I just love it. I love wrestling so much. It's just cool to see that there's so much variety now. And like when I first started, there was only like the two. And then like to see everything evolve this way, like indie wrestlers can make a living off this now. And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Eric, you were paying bills with wrestling, no?
I was, yeah.
Before the
Well,
pandemic?
my mortgage was being paid from wrestling, yeah.
Which is saying a lot considering that you're one of the guys that, you weren't like trying to like travel all over the world and do it because you wanted to stay close to it, like Ontario. So if a guy like you who's local in Ontario is able to do that, it is pretty amazing that there's that much work. Look at some of these guys around Ontario. They're working every weekend, 2 shows a weekend, all within one province. In one way, I feel like it's sometimes might hurt them because they're not traveling as much and working with different people. But at the same time, it's like, why leave if there's 20 or 30 shows in one province? Like, what's the point of traveling to the States and stuff if you get all this great work right here at home?
I think it all depends on exposure though, because sometimes you get a little bit more exposure if you cross that border and wrestle for a big Fed in, say, America, or you go to UK like you've done and wrestle out there. Like that's pretty cool. That gives your name a little bit more. I don't know what you say, like clout or whatnot. Like,
See,
yeah, I agree with that.
Like maybe it's different for me because the places I was traveling weren't very didn't get a lot of exposure to those places. But I feel like Eric, for instance, stays in Ontario and he's way more well known around the business than I am. And I think it's just I feel like it's getting to the point where you can be anywhere in the world and get exposure if you're working with the right people who have the exposure. Like for instance, 365. I know when you guys started up before the pandemic, the idea was to make a much more media based company, right? Like a lot of online content. So 365 really could be in the future like the biggest thing for exposure in Ontario or BC or wherever you are running the shows.
that's the hope. But I think like any wrestler now can also do that. We're sitting here with our computers or our phones or whatever we got, and we can be on Spotify, iTunes. We can be on all these other things, Twitch, Twitter, like everything. There's so much ability to put yourself out there. So now it's finding a way to do that in a way that people find it entertaining and click the follow or the subscribe or buy your Patreon or whatever it is, right? So that's what I'm still struggling to figure out how to make it work. But that's the goal, is to go through this avenue and try and become bigger than PWA ever was.
I was just thinking about this right now. The Thunderdome. How long before you think CWF Chris Thorne tries to set up a Thunderdome in his wrestling school?
Doesn't he already have it? That place is amazing.
But I could see him trying to come up with some like indie version of the Thunderdome where it's just a bunch of computer monitors around the ring.
Man, I got hats off to him, man, because that place looks amazing. I love
his production is unreal. It's crazy.
So
you know where he got a lot of that stuff, right?
No.
A lot of that is the old CWI. Remember when he had Hogan, all those guys?
Yep.
So all that trussing and the lighting. Well, I don't know if he's using a lot of the lights now.
Is that Nick Nitro?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he got a bunch of that stuff. He had like 2 transport trailers full of gear, and he just sold it to Frank for like a big lump sum. And so I think out of it all, he kept the trussing was the biggest thing, and he got like a shit ton of lights and stuff. But I guess a lot of it was like eaten by rats and stuff over the years.
Oh damn!
He was going through boxes of merchandise. He had like a whole box full of Tatanka t-shirts, but they all had like rat bitten holes through them and stuff.
Yeah.
Tatanka wanted money from him too for the shirts.
Oh,
you can sell them, man, but I want some of that money.
Of course he does, man. Of course he does. That guy's in great shape, though.
Yeah.
He's still looking good.
Frank had him on one of the last tours I did for him, and he just refused to stop smoking weed, even though it's like dry towns and stuff. So we're in a hotel, and the entire hallway around his room smells like weed.
Jeez.
So I knock on his door. I tell Frank, I'm like, we got to talk to him because we're going to lose the town. Yeah. So we go and we knock on the door, and he answers it, and he's just butt naked, and he's like dripping with what I thought was sweat. I go, man, you got to stop smoking weed. And he just looks at me and goes, it ain't me. Literally just clouds of smoke around him. And he goes, oh, no, brother, I just got out of the shower. That's steam. You're ridiculous. You're fucking Jamaican hotbox to your room.
Man, I was gonna say Eileen used to smoke a lot of weed, like back in the day. And I used to store my ring at his house, right? And it was in the garage, and his couch was there, and that's where he listened to music and wrote music and smoked his weed all the time. And we were at the French Club. We bring the ring, and we were doing weekly there. And it smells like weed all day. I can't put it together. And the owner's getting hot. They're like, you're smoking weed everywhere. the boards, the mat, the freaking like canvas all smelled like weed from Alien's house. It was amazing.
Oh my God.
I'm like, they're giving me
Uh,
so much trouble. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, it's just Alien smoking weed in his garage.
I never got to experience the French Club. When I started wrestling, you guys had just finished. Like when I first started training, you were still running the Thursdays at the French Club, and then I think by the time I was a few weeks in, you guys stopped that.
Yeah. Well, we got a big hole in the wall, smelled like weed. They're like, we're just done with you guys. I'm like, come on. But it was what it was. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. We were doing Thursdays in Cambridge. We were doing Sundays in Brantford. And then we try and like do like Guelph, Goderich, and like maybe another town. So it was like some pretty cool weekends back then.
That's what you were doing back, like what, 2005?
Yeah, like 6, 7. So
Yeah, it would be like, oh, I started in 7, and that's when the French Club
Yeah.
ended.
Oh, I didn't realize you guys ran that many shows even back then.
yeah, I was always trying to just do more and more and more. And it was a lot of like to give me matches too, like just to get better. And when I first started PWA, we were at the Hart Brothers School of Wrestling. I don't know if it had a different name at that time already, but we had all these good wrestlers and we had nowhere to wrestle. There was like 3 shows in town basically. There's like Great Lakes, there's Neo, BCW, but they hardly ran. So it was really hard to get on shows. Sometimes Dawson would have a show, and I'm like, PWX is running. And then I'm like, I gotta just start something. And I convinced Jeff to get on board. He brought Joey, and then we had a great group of guys like ready to go. So it was awesome.
The first time I remember meeting you was in Ingersoll, Ontario, and we were working for Willie Allen.
Yep.
Oh,
Dude, it was the best intro to, like, because I just started. It was like probably like my like
Just Willie Allen shows.
first 10 matches for sure for me.
Yeah.
And none of them, I didn't have a good match for like 6 years because I was trained by Blackjack and I just didn't know. But anyways, it was a great intro to wrestling because I think at this show he had like Medusa there randomly.
I think it was fake Medusa.
Yes, it was. I knew it was a fake Medusa.
Yeah.
All these years later, I was like, that wasn't Medusa. I don't think it was Medusa. She had big cannons though. She had really big tits.
She scared me.
Ooh, fake Medusa?
Yeah. I still thought she'd knock my block off. I was like, oh.
But the first time, this is like my 4th or 5th show, and we walk in. I'm not getting paid because it's Willie Allen and I'm young, and But I went in there with Blackjack. He was getting paid, and Willie Allen's literally just snorting lines of coke with like a pile of money in front of him, and I was like, "Oh man, this is wrestling."
Life ruined right there.
Oh yeah, my life went down the.
I probably went in right after him. He's like, here you go, Eddie. I can't pay your guys though.
Oh,
What do you mean?
every
You
time I
gotta pay
worked
the
for
other
Willie, I
guys.
got stiffed.
So, and then he gave me like a thing of change to give like Elian and like, I don't know, like some gift cards for Fox. I'm like, here you guys go. I just gave him my money. I'm like, fuck me.
Was Alien super positive back then too? Because I feel like you'd give him a big thing of change. You'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's okay though. That's all right." This
Elian loves wrestling. He's just happy to be on those shows, man. So was I. I was so happy to be on those shows. They gave me a lot of got to work with some older guys who really helped me out and got me better. So it was worth doing all the time.
I think Agent Orange was on the show.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah, I think he wrestled my buddy Billy Brooks. His name was.
Okay.
Then, but yeah, it was like super. Every time I think of that show every once in a while, and it just brings back a lot of nostalgic memories of like. I remember like what was on the radio. Remember that Fall Out Boy song, "Sugar We're Going Down Swinging."
Yeah,
that was on the radio so much, and that's how I know it came out in 2005 because that's when I started. I was like, yeah, it was fall of 2000. I remember like the color was like orange, like all the leaves were falling off the trees. That song was on the radio nonstop. And we were driving to like a Willie Allen show in Ingersoll.
This guy paints a hell of a picture.
Yeah, man.
That song comes on the radio when I'm driving. It literally takes me right back to 2005 when I first, because you always remember that like first few months in wrestling, like it's just implanted in your brain. And then
so you've been wrestling 2 years longer than me.
You just realize it as every time you have to carry my ass through a match. You've been around longer than me.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I started in 01, so I'm almost at 20 years, and I'm not wrestling, so that kind of sucks. I just hopefully we can get back to it because I
You
did
almost
some
have to do
matches.
at least an extra year just to make it,
Exactly.
you're thinking like, well, maybe I'll retire at 20, but then it's like, well, it's not really 20.
Oh, man, I just started doing suicide dives. I got time on me.
Oh, that's when it goes down, man. I'm telling you, I put on a bunch of weight, started trying to do springboards, and now I can't walk.
Wow.
This guy hit 1619 and blew his knee out.
Yeah, my back hasn't been right ever since, man.
Man, no, I'm trying real hard. I want to. I love in BC. So I moved on from Ontario, and I felt I was like in pretty good standing. I'd wrestled a lot of the guys there at that point. I know it's a newer scene now, but then I came here, and everyone I wrestled was somebody I've never worked with before, and it was so cool just to get to work with all these people, and then work with some of the island guys who like this is my home. So to get to work with them after they've wrestled so many years now is a lot of fun. So I'm loving it. I can't wait to get back in there.
How are you staying like, because I've watched you wrestle in recent years, and it seems like you completely like when I first started wrestling, you were like technical, like technician kind of thing. And now I see you wrestle and you're fitting in and doing more cutting edge stuff than like guys 20 years younger than you. And I don't understand it because I'm 32 and I'm already like, I can barely watch wrestling because I lose interest quickly. And I feel like I'm like regressing. And you're getting like more cutting edge and like doing stuff that the young guys are doing, and you're 20 years in.
I think it helps that I'm training people too, right? So all these young guys come in and they're so excited. Like I can't not be excited to see someone coming in and starting to like start their journey in pro wrestling. And I want to help them. And then it helps me by getting to work with them. So then like, I don't know, man, I just love it. So like,
I see a real sarcastic look on Eric's face right now.
Yeah. Man, Eddie has gone so soft since he moved out to BC.
I don't kill people anymore. I do kill them. I make them work hard, but I don't fucking chop them 100 times like I did you. There's not 100 arm drags.
Yeah, I took 100 arm drags, wanted to die, got my chest chopped for 4 hours. I couldn't even speak to him at the end of the training class. He just goes, "You all right, man?" And the only thing I could do was put a thumbs up. I couldn't talk. I think I could barely breathe.
Dude, this is like your dad separated with your mom and got remarried, and he's so nice to his new kids. Where was this, Dad? Why weren't you nice to me like you are your new kids?
So about a year ago, Eric comes to visit just before everything's kind of going to shit. He's trying to do his work thing. I didn't have any shows. He has a hotel room for like 4 days. Come visit. My lady's like, "So I'll see you in 4 days." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'll probably bring him by." I didn't. He came over once. We had some food, but she was gone. But it was Haviko's birthday party weekend. And the first night, I was trying so hard not to drink beer. Trying so hard not to like be drinking any of that stuff, trying to stay straight. So I buy vodka, just vodka. And man, drink it. I don't even remember drinking the last of it. And apparently we walked to there's only a strip club in Campbell River. There's no other bars. It's the only bar in town. So we walked there and I'm trying to fight homeless people, get there, belligerent as a belligerent person could be to the people who like I see every week. At that point, I was seeing a lot. And they're like, "You have to leave." I'm like, "I don't got to go anywhere." So kicked out. The owner's like, "Actually, you got to leave." And it was probably worse than that. I ended up like chasing Haviko and his lady friend down the hall in my like underwear. I might have had pants on, but no shirt. I don't know. End up in an elevator. He leaves. I wake up, I'm like, "That was terrible." And this guy's giving it to me all damn day. And I'm like, "Let's just not go there tonight, okay? Let's go. We can go to the freaking casino." And he's like, "No." Because like, "It's my birthday, man. We're going there." I'm like, "No, like this is terrible. I'm not even gonna get in." I told off the waitress. I told off the bar. I told everybody off. Called him
the owner.
Prick. The dick. I've never used the word dick prick in my life, but like the security guy's like, "You gotta leave." Like, "You're a dick prick." I'm like, "What does that even mean? I don't even know what this means." So I'm like, I'm dreading the next day. I'm like, "This is terrible." Drank a little bit. All right, let's go. We go in, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm sorry." And the bouncer's like, "Hey, man, it's all good." We never seen you like that before. I'm like, and I'm like, yes. And then this guy goes on like crazy. He's just drinking his face off, calling everyone names, going nuts, making fun of the workers. I'm like, oh my God. So
Yeah.
like
I
terrible,
got out of
man.
control, Rex. I got out of control.
Out of control.
Eddie
He's
goes
like,
to BC to start a new life.
yeah, but no, he comes back. We get to the hotel room. He got a Big Mac. He's like, it's the greatest thing on earth to him. He's getting naked. And I'm like, oh no. So he's naked for so long. And he goes like, wow, you like me. I'm like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, he's drunk. This might be like half real talk. He's like, you like Judas and Joey Allen, Nolan, and you don't like me. And I do everything for you, man. And I'm like, shit, son. I just put your dick back in your underpants 5 minutes ago. Like, of course I like you. That was hilarious. So I won't stop. I'm still nice to everybody. Literally put his clothes back on just for him to take them back off and sit beside me naked and talk for another hour. There was a lot more that happened that weekend, but that's the good story. Yeah, leave it at that.
I think you got some deep down feelings, Eric, that only.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he just pushes everybody else.
Hey, man, you've won the title several times.
I know. Those 2-day runs. It's good. When we get to the next town, I drop it.
I'm not saying no. It happens. Jesus.
Okay.
My favorite was when I thought he was gonna quit. So who are you making champ, man? Geza was it was Geza or Ruffy. I think it was Ruffy. He was hurt, couldn't go no more. Surrenders the belt. Every December we did a golden ticket rumble. We did the Royal Rumble. And this one was for the belt. This one was for the belt. And he's like, so who's winning it? I'm like, Lance Malibu. And I thought it was going to explode. I was nervous. Like the colors in them. I'm like, I just want to put it on big guys with Lenny right now. I think it'll be a good thing. I thought, fuck that. You're not really doing that. Like, I'm going to do that. He's like, what the fuck? Throws things angry. Day of the show. So who's winning the match? Lance Malibu. What the fuck, man? All right, but what the fuck? So
I just didn't understand.
I know he wasn't like the most, he wasn't the greatest wrestler at all, but I just thought it fit for Lenny and them. It was nice for the group to have a title for a minute. He didn't have it for that long, and it worked out. So.
Okay.
But yeah, he used to get so mad. He still does, so mad. But
Now I can see it in his face. He's still angry about it.
No, he almost killed a midget once, but that's fine.
To be fair, that midget. Come on. Like, he would drink 4 tall cans and he was gone already.
Oh, so, yeah. And
I mean, love the guy, but both ways.
I remember one time Farmer Pete, we were in Winnipeg and he had like 3 beers before we got on the airplane and then had like another 3 on the airplane. And we got off and he was, Bio was picking us up. It was myself, Robbie Reckless, and Farmer Pete. And he walks out of the airport and just goes to step up on a curb, catches his foot and face plants and just laid there. He never got flat as a board playing on the sidewalk.
Man, I did one little tour with Frank, just to Alberta, Saskatchewan area in the winter, but Farmer Pete was on it. We picked him up in Sudbury, and we had this big van. He took up the whole middle row. He was like, whatever, man. I want to sit back there anyways. So, but
yeah, I miss being on tour with like guys like Farmer Pete. I just seen Frenchie Lamont last year.
Man,
first time in like probably a decade.
That's who I actually meant was Frenchie.
Oh.
It was. I was Farmer Pete's crazy. Frenchie's crazy too. Yeah. But when we pulled up, my favorite part, he was wearing a Canucks jacket. I'm like, yeah.
I think he was wearing the same jacket when I seen him in
probably
the North Bay. I think that's where he's living. But
yep.
Okay, Eddie, where can everybody find you?
You can find me 365 Eddie O. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I'm on all those.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Peace, guys.
All
Take
right,
it
see ya.
easy.
Let's get the show on the road.